we are, next morning. Let's take it all apart. And it's Easter weekend, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. It's forecast to be wet and windy, and today is Friday and it's pouring down and it's windy. Typical Easter bank holiday weather in the UK. In case you didn't know, I pin into builders what we call plasterboard in the UK. It takes a pin really well and grips it. Lots of rounding up to do, of course. But I didn't cut the slots into the bottom. These fit around the formers because I just thought I'll just offer it up to the aeroplane and mark where the slots go. That's a lot easier. And that will just come apart. When I come to sand this into a rounded section, I'll glue it back together with a couple of little blobs just to hold it. It sort of comes out like that a bit. Okay, let's just cut those and get things moving along a bit. And to cut it, I'm going to use my balsa saw to get the bulk out. Because that's a lot of sanding and a lot of dust if I just sand it. Don't saw right up to it, sand the final bit, it's easier. Let's get rid of that. So I'm just going to sand it around, following the line. Like that. Turn it over, use the finer side. A bit of extra wood in there, look. That was that packing piece I put in. Okay, that'll do for now. Let's do this one. Now this will want to be notched. It is notched, but it wants to be notched a little bit more, stepped up and adjusted. So that'll go in there, in there, in there. Just fair into that one, okay. So therefore, these stringers will now go one either side like that. That will hold that upright. We've got a centre line marked on there, which is just there. So I've lined the back of the fin up on the tail post to make sure it's upright. I just have to glue this stringer in. Hopefully I'm not gluing the fin in. We'll find out in a minute. Got it. Right, let's just pop this off. I haven't glued the back ones on yet, but I want to make sure this fin comes out, and it has got a little bit of CA on it, which isn't too much of a challenge to break it out. Just the smallest bit of CA just holding it. So it just leaves the back ones just to touch in there. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that yet, so let's leave it a second. So the plan shows 3 of these going down, and each one's going to have to be tapered in there, isn't it? Or it could just, yeah, tapered onto there, one there, and one in there. Each one tapered down. Doesn't that look good? I love stringers, especially when they don't break, which is always good. That one is going to go in there and tapered, fit against there like that, glued in and roughly sanded just for now, and I think that looks pretty good. Should we offer in the fin again? See if it still fits. It should do. There we go. That looks cool. I like that. Very nice. Lots of sanding to do, of course, rounding it up. Well, do you know what? The rear cockpit is just here. The front cockpit is here, and in this part here, on the original aeroplane, was a Gnome rotary engine. What's that? 9 cylinders? Not sure, 7 or 9. That span around inside here, and the exhaust came out underneath. That is just amazing to think that back in those days, because the engine was on the front, but this was completely enclosed further the way down, which is why the pilot's sitting all the way back here to get the centre of gravity. Amazing. Still, that's going to look fantastic tissued. Good. Let's move on to the next piece. I thought I would cut, rather bend the cabane strut that takes the cables that go down to all the wing mount points. It originally called for stitching the cabane strut onto the F6. I've decided to not do that. What I've done, I've glued in, CA'd a pair of plastic tubes in the position it would have been stitched, and I'm going to slide the cabane strut down and run a bit of epoxy over the tube, and that will hold it. In fact, I actually did a boo-boo and put the tubes to the wrong side of F6, and I couldn't get them off. I ended up breaking them out. So I know they're stuck really well, but when I mix up some epoxy, I've got some spare, I'll just put it over there. But they're not going anywhere. So all I have to do is to bend up the cabane, and that is this shape. I'm going to make it, I have made them a bit deeper actually, so as to give me a bit more mounting area. They just bend up and join at the top. But two interesting little things at the top. There's a piece of flat brass sheet that the rigging clips onto. There's also a dummy pitot tube which is soldered to it and faces forward 1/2 inch. So I've got to incorporate that into the solder as well. So I think the first thing I'll do, I'll just bend up one of these halves, let's say about there, just ever so slight. Okay, and that then bends just there. The reason I'm bending this now is because I can't sheet the top of the fuselage until this is fitted. So maybe, just maybe, I can slide it in after the event anyway, but I'm in the mood for a bit of wire bending, so while I'm in the mood for it, let's do it. And then I'm going to take that down to there. Oh. Okay, so that is that one there. That goes down to there, extra long. I'll cut out, or rather I'll bend another one up the same shape and then disappear to make this piece of brass. And then when that's made, I'll come back to you. Okay guys, there's my little brass piece. That will take the flying wires from the wings. All I've got to do is to solder it up now, along with the pitot tube, which is sitting there on the plan. If you can see it, there it is, that little angled bit. And yeah, the last 15 minutes of filming was to no avail because I forgot to hit record. So what I was explaining was I've just glued in the main leg undercarriage support back here, and then I can put the saddle clamps over the top. And I was just saying about around the back of the plan. Let's pull it forward a bit for you. Around the back here is where the back half of the wing joins in, but there's balsa inset, so it's that panel, and half of that panel. It's got to have a couple of slots put in it for the main spars to notch into, and a couple of grooves cut into for the closed loop. And also the bottom sheet in here, the plan calls for 0.4 ply followed by 3/32 balsa. I don't think it needs to be 0.4 ply, so I'm going to ignore that, and I'm going to just probably go with the 3/32 balsa. Don't forget, this was originally actually got a PAW19 diesel showing, which is quite a healthy lump of metal all vibrating through the structure, and it's got to be strong, so it's basically a plywood box, but mine's electric, so I don't need any of that, so I'm going to ignore that and probably just go with the balsa sheet. Guys, been busy. I've cut out the parts that go in here. One, I think you thought I'd done that wrong, didn't you? So did I for a minute. 2 and 3, and in there I have to put the slot for the rudder pull system and a couple of slots for the wings, but I think I'll leave those till I've got the wing offered directly up, and then I can cut the exact position. So yeah, let's glue them in. Use white glue. Just want to do the end grain first because there's a lot of end grain here, so it's as well to do it properly, isn't it? It's the easiest way to do it. And each piece has got a small dot in the corner, just so as I know which way round it all goes, and which side. These are marked starboard. Just wipe a bit there, wipe a bit there, save wiping it all off. I'm going to make it slightly proud because the fuselage, don't forget, is curved. So I'm going to make it slightly proud, and then I can sand it all absolutely level, get a nice flat surface so it's sticking up slightly. I was studying the plan earlier just to try and get my head around the undercarriage a little bit. I think I've got it sorted out in my mind. It's quite a lot of metal work to it actually. I'm surprised. It's quite heavy. But then it's scale, so there we go. I think the back could be flusher. Looks kind of rough at the moment, but when it's dry and sanded, it'll look lovely and flat. Right, there we are, guys. The sub fin and top fin. I just pinned the rudder on for effect, and yeah, not bad. I was thinking I might try and get some 0.4 plywood because I'm going to need it for the main spar, which is made up of 2 bits of 16th and a bit of ply in the middle. I'm going to put together the hatch, and I'll put some sellotape down the sides to stop any glue seepage, and peg the side runs into position. But I'm just wondering about this front former, and put a spacer in. I'll probably end up gluing the spacer. I'm not careful anyway. I think I'll be alright actually. I think I'm just going to assemble it with CA actually. Just about there I think. CA will penetrate, and I am thinking of also maybe putting gussets in the corners. That will also hold it nice and rigid. And then we've also got the centre. That one I want trimming. Let's turn it around that way. Quick measure of the crown. Looks like it's exactly halfway. Nice tight fit. Just get it approximately halfway. Okay, got to be careful with it because it's delicate, but let's have a look and see what we got. Should basically hold itself in place now. It does. Right, okay. Just going to work my way around these 8 gussets. Right, that's all 8 in. Hopefully it'll come out without too much problems, and then I can put some glue on the bottom. If this comes off, it'll be a miracle. Hey, look at that. It is a miracle. There we are. So I can skin that, and we've got ourselves a hatch. Before I do anything though, I'm just going to run some CA on the back of this. Tape was on as a precaution, really. There we are. That's the mid hatch done. Still not decided what I'm going to do with the front here. I'll probably put maybe a fixed part here, and I might cut it across where the motor goes, so as I can just pop that piece off. Or maybe this piece where the ESC will probably end up going. Maybe I'll put the 1/2 inch on, shape it all down, and then cut it at that point and make a front hatch that will come off. But I think I might leave it here at part 3, guys. Wanted to put the metalwork together, but maybe I'll start the next video with that, soldering it up and what have you. So thanks for watching. Check out the rest of the videos here. I'll link the playlist, parts 1 and 2. And yeah, see you in the next one. Cheers.